Yo, what's up, guys? It's Baker Turtle here, aka Sky, bringing you another YouTube video. This video, I will be going over my latest Pokemon Draft League team that I just finished drafting over the weekend. It's for the Machamp Lounge Facebook group. And yeah, we based our draft on the WBE draft that I think it's on YouTube, on Twitter, and all that stuff. Like people like Pokeaim and A Drive are part of, and so they have their own draft format that we adopted, and we kind of tweaked it a little bit. We added Mew because we don't think Mew is broken, and we took away the Dynamax and Gigantamax parts and stuff like that. But yeah, so basically the draft rules were you draft 9 Pokemon, 1 S tier, 1 A tier, 3 B tiers, and 4 C tiers. And each Pokemon is separated into their own category, and you don't have to draft in any specific order. You can draft a C tier first if you want, a B tier, you can draft S tier last, whatever you want. So yeah, so I was fortunate enough to get the 3rd overall pick. So yeah, initially I wanted to go with Corviknight. Like I feel like Corviknight's the best Pokemon right now in the meta, and especially in draft. And I'm pretty sure I can win most games if I had got Corviknight. But Corviknight was taken 1st overall by Martin, and then 2nd overall Dragapult was taken, and those were basically my top 2 that I wanted to take. And after that, it was just uh, whatever was left. There was Aegislash. It was on my list. There was a Galarian Corsola on my list, and there was Dracovish that was on my list. And honestly, I was looking at those, and Dracovish and Aegislash were S tiers, and Galarian Corsola was an A tier. So I was like, shit, let me get a high value A tier here, because I think Galarian Corsola is very, very, very good in this meta right now. And as you guys can see the rest of my team that I drafted after that. So let me just go over my Pokemon real quick. So Galarian Corsola, I put the moves there. So some key moves that I feel like is very useful for this Pokemon. Stealth Rocks, so I can set Stealth Rocks with this Pokemon. It's super bulky, gets Eviolite. So as you can see, those defensive stats, 100 and 100, it's going to double those, well not, is it double or 50% or something like that? Double those stats. So it's insanely bulky, gets Cursed Body. So if you attack it with a certain move, it has a chance to disable it. And yeah, so Stealth Rock, Shadow Ball, my stab attack move. And then it also gets Nightshade. It has actually a pretty great coverage. Let me go through them. As you can see, let me put it down. So there's they got Destiny Bond, Earth Power, Giga Drain, Haze, Hex, Ice Beam, Power Gem, Psychic, a whole bunch of different coverage moves, Surf, and stuff like that. And I mean, some down here, and also maybe some other shenanigans. I can go down here. Mirror Coat, that's a good one. No counter, so just Mirror Coat. But yeah, so pretty good moveset. Strength Sap to get that recovery, and then Will-O-Wisp to burn physical attackers. So next, I decided to go down to the tiers. At this point, we did the round robin, so I picked 3rd, so I had to go all the way down, then reverse back all the way up to me. So it was a long time before my next pick. And by the time it was like almost my pick, there was only myself and another player, Charles, who did not pick their S tiers yet. So we kind of messaged each other and was like, hey, we're the last ones left, so what you thinking? And then I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Maybe we can just save it for last, because then everybody else can't snipe us, so take our picks. So we were talking about it, and I was kind of like, I don't really care. And my strategy was, I'm just gonna see whatever's left over towards the end, or like see what everybody else picks, and then kind of pick from there. And then he initially showed interest in Ferrothorn. So he was like, hey, are you gonna pick Ferrothorn? Because I was thinking of taking it, and I was like, sure, go ahead. I don't care, like whatever. I mean, I might be interested if it's still there at the end, but if you want to, go ahead and take it. So I told him we could do that, and then it wasn't until late, like a little bit later, that I realized, oh shit, we're the only last two, so I can tell him what I wanted, and so I let him know that I was gonna be picking Hydreigon last. So yeah, so everybody else picked, but Hydreigon was still available, and I think Hydreigon is super good. So that's my last pick of you. So after these, but my point being that I didn't have to worry about drafting my S tier yet. So this is why I went down into my B tier on the second overall pick. So I wanted to get a good fairy type. I wanted to get something strong, something fast. And I was looking at it, I was looking at all the fairy types, and Rabombi seemed to be the way to go. It gets Sticky Webs, Quiver Dance, Moonblast, Bug Buzz. It also gets U-Turn, like Switcheroo, Aromatherapy, just things like that. It doesn't really have much coverage. And Energy Ball is good, and then Psychic, but it doesn't have a fire type move to hit with. So yeah, so that's gonna be an issue to hitting like steel types and stuff like that. But still good, still good. And then I wanted to get my, I wanted to get my steel type, and my last draft BRL. If you guys been following my other videos, I don't have a ground type, and that's probably a big issue in my team that I see, a big flaw. I don't have a ground type, and so teams can just kind of vote switch all over me. But I wanted to get Steelix here. Steelix is a very underrated Pokemon in my opinion, and I think this was an S tier. I mean a C tier actually. So I actually went down to the last tier to get this guy straight high value tier. Stealth Rocks is super insanely bulky. It has great coverage. It has like Fire Fang, Crunch, Head Smash, Rock Slide, Stone Edge. Let's see, what else has he got? Body Press. He got Body Press this generation, so that's pretty good, pretty good. Dragon Tail to get those sweepers out, those trying to set up. So it has good, Gyro Ball, has Ice Fang, Iron Head, Psychic Fang, so very good coverage. Taunt. My main thing is that it's a steel type. It's a fairy switching that I see as very valuable this generation, and I also noticed that it gets Dragon Dance. So, in Draft League and formats, sometimes you can pull some stunts here, and if I make my Steelix fast enough, bulky enough, and if I see that maybe somebody's team doesn't really match up well against Steelix, I can start setting up some Dragon Dances. Maybe I can live 2 Dragon Dances, 2 turns, right? With the bulk, I can get 2 Dragon Dances up, maybe even 3, outspeed everything, and then just blast away especially with the Sheer Force. I can go Sheer Force Life Orb and just destroy teams. So be careful. It can also be offensive. Next, I wanted to get my electric type. Last draft, I drafted more Pico. It's a little on the slow side, and in the last draft, I initially did want Boltund. I really, really like Boltund. I like its ability, Strong Jaw. So as you can see, it gets Crunch, Fire Fang, Psychic Fangs, Thunder Fang, and those are some really. It has a lot of biting moves, and really takes advantage of that Strong Jaw ability. So it basically gives it an automatic Life Orb, and that's good. So if I put like a Choice Band on this or another Life Orb, I can definitely punch in some holes on this. And with the speed, I'll outspeed a lot. It does get Volt Switch. It gets Flame Charge. So if I want to get past those Scarfers, I can just boost up a Flame Charge and then start going away. It gets Play Rough for coverage. And what else? If I want to nuzzle some things, Paralyze, I can do that. It has 20. It is only 20 power, but yeah. So like I said, Volt Switch, and it gets Wild Charge if I want to just go really strong. Not much else. I mean, other than that, but Boltund's a good electric type, good just straight attacker. I mean, and it has a 90 attack and 90 special attack. So it can go mixed, it can go physical or special, whatever way. Next, I wanted to get a rapid spinner, and I seen this down at the C tier with Mr. Mime, Galarian Mr. Mime. I was thinking maybe Galarian Mr. Mime for that Eviolite as well. This generation, not a lot of Pokemon have access to knockoff, so Eviolite is very good. And I was thinking of getting Mr. Mime, but I decided to go with Mr. Rhyme this one because I wanted to be a little bit more offensive, and it's and for this guy I wanted to be, it's not as fast either, but I like gets access to freeze dry, so that's good for those water types, and rapid spin like I said, and then it also gets thunder wave, so with the bulk I can slow down some threats on my opponent's team, and then Nasty Plot gets set up, gets Calm Mind set up as well, Dazzling Gleam coverage, 85 attack, that's a respectable physical. I can go, I probably won't, but there's Drain option, there's Fake Out and Ice Punch and all that stuff, but it gets Ice Shard for priority, Grass Knot, Focus Blast, Energy Ball, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Slack Off. So if I wanted to be like really bulky and like that, it gets Sucker Punch, Priority, Taunt, Trick, all this kind of stuff, Blizzard. So it's a pretty good Pokemon to have, especially for a C tier high value. What else? Nothing. Yeah, nothing really much else. It gets Thunder but I don't want to risk the miss. But yeah, so Screen Cleaner, that's actually a pretty good ability, so it prevents my opponents from setting screens and trying to set up and all that stuff. So yeah, next I decided to go with Araquanid. Araquanid was one of the Pokemon that got sniped on me in my last Pokemon draft. I really, really wanted Araquanid. Actually, Milotic was my first pick, but I didn't really expect to get that. But I definitely felt like I was going to be able to get this spider guy, but I don't know, someone liked it too, so sniped me. But yeah, so Arachnid's really good. As you guys can see, that special defense stat pretty high, so it's really bulky, and that ability is amazing, guys. Water Bubble, it doubles water type moves, and it can't be burnt, and fire damage is halved. That's an amazing ability. So definitely gonna be like a fire switch in, good fire switch in. I could it gets access to liquidation, scald, hydro pump, all these things. So definitely pretty good. It can go physical or special because it's not really much of an attacker, but it gets access to Sticky Web, so I have 2 Sticky Web users, so I don't have to restrict one or the other with having Sticky Web. I don't need Sticky Web on this, because if I want to bring it with a Sash lead Rabombi, or I don't have to have it on Rabombi, and I can have it on this, whatever I want. And so it gets Leech Life, so for recovery, the extra bug coverage, Lunge, if I wanted to be special defensive, and then lower physical attackers as well. Mirror Coat, because I'm with that special defense, I can definitely live some special attacks. Mirror Coat, bring them down. But yeah, so this is it's pretty good. It's going to be like a ground switch in, great Mamoswine switch in, and yeah, just pretty good overall, honestly. Does it get first impression? I don't think it gets first impression. No. So that's unfortunate. But it gets Scald is a good thing too. To get those burns. But yeah, so those were the first 6 that I picked, and then after that I decided to go with Roselia. So this is also a very good value pick. Grass Poison. I definitely wanted to get a good value poison type, and this was pretty good. I've used Roselia before, and again, it's another Eviolite user, so Eviolite is very good this generation. So oh shit, no. Alright, so Yeah, sorry about that. That was a little fluke. Maybe I'll cut that out of the video. I don't know, but anyways, so yeah, so it's another Violet user. It gets access to natural cure, so that's good. Also technician. Nope, not technician. Poison point. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be just doing natural cure. I thought it was technician, but I guess that's just only Roserade. But yeah, so as you can see, it gets access to toxic spikes, also regular spikes. Leech Seed, that's going to be pretty good if my opponent doesn't have a good grass type. Um, then, I mean, grass normally wouldn't be able to really switch into this because I'm also poison. So, but it need to be something like grass and steel, like a Ferrothorn or Ferroseed or whatever. But yeah, so aromatherapy as well. So I got a good cleric, and it also gets access to synthesis, so it can keep trying to keep healing. Good coverage with dazzling gleam. It gets energy ball, extra sensory, giga drain to get that extra life as well. Leaf storm. What else? Shadow ball, sleep powder. So that's good if I want to run sleep powder. But yeah, like I said, spikes, sunspore, synthesis, toxic. So yeah, so also I could do sunny day weather ball for fire moves if I wanted. So growth in the sun. But yeah, so the stats are pretty good too, especially on the special defense side. If I have that Violet, max HP, and yeah, that special attack is not to be disrespected either. So yeah, so watch out for Roselia. Next, all right, so this I got to talk about Pessimian. So I already had Hydreigon set up for the end, but there was some shenanigans that started happening during the draft. So I think it was before Roselia or before Araquanid or something like that, I really wanted Pessimian. It was like the one on my list, my fighting type that I wanted, because I was looking at him, and at first I was thinking maybe Hitmontop for the spin, but I got Mr. Rhyme for spin, and also I seen this guy. I was like, oh my god, Pessimian. Knowing that it gets U-turn, that's one of the biggest things that I like about this guy. U-turn and Defiant. So let me break this down for you guys. So I have Sticky Webs, I have Toxic Spikes, I have Spikes, I have Stealth Rocks, I have a bunch of Hazard Setters, and I have Galarian Corsola to block Rapid Spin, and I was thinking about this guy because of Defiant. So I can also predict maybe if my opponent has something like Amanda Buzz or something that gets access to Defog. So Defog, if I switch in on Defog, my evasiveness will go down, but I'll get that Defiant boost, and then it gets really, really great coverage. So another thing, as you can see, it gets U-turn, Drain Punch, so I can keep getting life. Look at that HP stat, 100 HP. I don't even need to invest in HP, but if I wanted to, it's gonna be super bulky. That 90 defense is really good. That special defense I can work on, but I can have a careful nature and make it special defensive. I can make it assault vest, whatever I want to do. But look at this coverage, guys. So acrobatics, brick break, bulk up, close combat. Like I said, drain punch. It gets earthquake. Gets gunk shot. Iron head as well. So for those fairy coverage, knockoff. So this is one of the few fighting types that still gets knockoff. Knockoff is not like a tutor move anymore, so it can't really be taught, so it has to be learned normally. So great for knockoff as well. Priority and quick attack, rock slide, seed bomb, taunt, just all that stuff. So great Pokemon, especially as a C tier. So C tier was very high value pick, but this actually got sniped from me. So I wanted to pick it. It got sniped. And I was like, oh man, I really wanted to get it. And then I started looking at, I think it was Sock. I was going to get Sock. I've used Sock before in the past. It's actually very good. I recommend someone try to pick that up. It gets sturdy. I used to put Scarf. So Scarf sturdy kind of, for the most part, guarantees you 2 hits. So good for sweeping, very respectable attack stat. So I was really gonna go with that. Has good coverage too. Poison jab coverage, earthquake, stone edge, close combat. What else do you need? It also gets throat chop too, I think. So yeah, so I was going to get socked, but then lo and behold, the dude Charles that sniped my Passimian, I had messaged him asking, "Hey, is there any chance you would want to trade for it?" And I really want it. He was like, "Nah," he really wanted it. And then I was trying to convince him, to maybe, hey, maybe you don't really need it. Maybe you can use your pick for something else. And so I recommended him like Hitmonchan because he didn't have any hazard removers. He thought he did because he said Silvally, Vikavolt, and Espeon for Magic Bounce. But, Silvally doesn't get defog this generation anymore. And I don't think Vikavolt ever was a hazard remover. I don't think it got Rapid Spin or defog. So he had no hazard removal. So I was trying to help the dude out, honestly. I was trying to let him know, hey, you actually kind of need some hazard removal. So maybe if you don't want Passimian, you should pick up Hitmonchan. It's a fighting type. It's pretty good. Gets Rapid Spin and whatnot. And he was like, nah. And this is also the same dude that was wanting Ferrothorn at the end. And so I guess after I talked to him about that, he did realize he didn't have any hazard removal, and so he was going to tell the admin, David, that he wanted to pick up Hydreigon next, and then Pharaoh Seed or something like that, and then he was going to drop something for a spinner or something like that. No. He thought Hydreigon got defog, so he's gonna get defog for Hydreigon. But again, Hydreigon doesn't get defog anymore. So he was talking with David. David was letting me know what was going on, and I guess he didn't see the message where I told him I wanted to get Hydreigon since he wanted Ferrothorn, and we were the last two to get S tier, and we were both saving our S tiers for last because we didn't need to get them because we weren't going to snipe each other, and we can just draft the other tiers first and then save it for last. But this guy now wanted Hydreigon even after I told him, and I was like, yo, because he was going to get Hydreigon, and also like it doesn't defog, so it's not really going to help you out. So I guess David, the admin, worked his magic and talked some sense into him. I mean, I did mention to him that, there's also Tortonator if you're looking for a dragon type that can spin. He didn't have a fire type either, so Tortonator is pretty good there. So I guess anyways, turns out he was willing to drop Passimian to pick up Komodo for his S tier, get Pharaoh Seed instead of Ferrothorn, and then draft Tortonator for his Rapid Spinner. So because of that, it was a win-win situation. He got his Spinner, he got his Dragons, he still got Pharaoh Seed. I get Passimian and Hydreigon. So it was a win-win situation. David worked that out. Thank you, David. And yeah, so basically, so he didn't get sniped of Pharaoh Seed, because I mean, Pharaoh Seed's a pretty good one. I decided to draft it for him, and then we were just gonna trade Pharaoh Seed for Passimian. I didn't want him to get sniped of Pharaoh Seed and then ruin the whole plans and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what happened, and it was a good trade. So yeah, so I got Passimian that way, and then I ended up with Hydreigon. Hydreigon, very, very good. Gets Nasty Plot this generation. Also Dragon Dance. I'm not going to reveal any Dragon Dance shenanigans. I want those to be secret. But yeah, don't count that out. And, it gets great coverage. It gets, like I said, Nasty Plot. It gets Flames to Fire coverage, Flamethrower coverage. Gets, as you can see, Flash Cannon for those fairies. Superpower, physical. And, Zen Headbutt for whatever reason, but yeah, so it's pretty good. Not bad. Very strong on the attack and special attack. And no Roost, unfortunately. not this gen, and no defog either. So, but it did become more offensive with Dragon Dance and Nasty Plot. So, yeah. So that's my draft team, guys. I think it's one of the best draft teams I've drafted in a while. You know, Sticky Webs helps with Passimian. Passimian's got the U-turn, the Defiant, knockoff coverage, Eviolite Roselia with a bunch of different options. Galarian Corsola is great. I don't know. Not much is going to be able to break that. Rabombi, good sweeper, good fairy type. I can just go Scarf or Specs, whatever. If I didn't want to Quiver Dance, Steelix is great. Super bulky. Bolton's a great fast electric type. Good coverage, great coverage. Strong draw ability. You know, a lot of options. Volt Switch. Mr. Rhyme, pretty bulky. You know, that 80 HP is, don't discount that thing. And then that 100 special defense and 75 defense. It can lift some hits. And, you know, Calm Mind, Nasty Plot, Thunder Wave, Rapid Spin, Freeze Dry. Good coverage as well. Raconid, very bulky. Sticky Webs option as well. Water type. You know, very good. And, yeah, so if you guys liked the video, please leave a like. Comment down below who you guys think will be the MVP of the season. And who you're rooting for. Any, you know, ideas or, you know, critiques or anything. I know I don't have a fire type. I don't have a flying type. So, you know, I'm missing some types. But, you know, we only did get to draft 9. But, yeah, like I said, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel for more videos. And look forward to a team analysis and ranking video for the whole league. So, yeah.